Good morning. So, continuing on with the generator, there isn't a good way to show the wiring I did, because it did take a while and it kind of looks like a rat's nest, but this is a diagram. I have the three motors lined up in there. This is the 540 style DC brushed, and then M1 and M3 are both brushless DC motors, which means they've got three wires, because a brushless motor uses two windings to get the permanent magnets to move. In order to get when you turn the motor, a brushless permanent magnet motor creates alternating current on these three leads. So I had to build three-leg bridge rectifiers, which is pretty simple. Just have diodes going in pairs to each leg for DC poles out the other side of the bridge. So there's the motors, a three-leg rectifier, motor, three-leg bridge, motor just goes straight in because brushed motors create DC current or DC voltage, and then I put a switch for on one leg of each of the motors, so that they can be used individually and disconnected otherwise. So there's a switch on one side and then they are all common on the other. There is also then a bank of switches for the resistors that I had. So there's one switch for each of the three resistors I had in the box, and then I wired in permanently leads for a voltmeter, and that goes from the top supply side rail here to the bottom common rail across for voltage. And I also wired in an ammeter permanently, and these are both cheap digital meters that I had out. So, and of course the ammeter goes from goes on the common rail from the bottom side of the resistors, so that it measures all the current going back through the system. Yeah, that's the setup I have right now. I think it should work just fine. This is how it looks. So I've got three switches for the motors to bring those in, and then switches for the load. And that is how the wiring looks in here. This breadboard is where I put the two separate three-leg rectifier bridges. So it's got three wires out of that motor on this bridge and three on this bridge. I've got the banks of diodes on either side of the board, and then the three resistors are there. And I have a fourth extra switch for another load when I find another thing to put on for load. And then the leads for the meters come out the top, and that way the meters can sit on top of the box for easy reading. So yeah, that is, I think, the end of building this generator box, and hopefully we'll get to test it with some stuff. I did get pulleys for toothed belting for 3D printers, and I'm going to use that toothed belting to get some better power transmission, I hope. So we will see how all this works in the next video.